Part 38. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Renhuo Xiangxiao. Chapter 387. Phew, Shuttlecock Grass and Shuttlecock Flower Camera team are finally back to work. That newly evolved Gyarados in the Meteor Forest, I don't know if any lucky guy will catch it. The freshmen at Yanjing University are really strong. They are no less powerful than juniors from some ordinary schools. The foundation of a top school is here, no one can be inferior. There are some dark horses this year. Hangcheng TV University defeated Xiongnan in the aerial battle, and is now ranked close to the top 50. The game is not over yet, no one can tell what the final ranking will be. The wind is coming. Shuttlecock grass and shuttlecock flowers rise with the wind. The new images were transmitted to the viewing screens of the Elf League and major schools. The first, National Competition Meteor Forest Food Festival? What the hell is this? At this time, the people who were paying attention to the progress of the Meteor Forest competition all stared blankly at the pictures fed back by the Shuttlecock camera team on the screen. The first national competition, Meteor Forest Food Festival? Do you also know that this is a national competition? Which guy from which school caused this big thing? This is a competition, not a food festival. Is this a prank? What happened? Who made the superpower banner? All the teachers and administrators watching the game outside the Meteor Forest, including the referee. They were all caught off guard and confused by the superpower advertisement floating in the air. What operation? If there weren't important members of the Elf Alliance here, the situation would have been almost out of control. Some teachers even wanted to rush into the Meteor Forest to see who it was. If you have the ability to control superpower banners, why don't you just go and compete for your strength? What else is there to do like a food festival? If Yang Yu were here, he will definitely say it. You don't understand the real joy of competition. It's a pity that the forest team competition only lasts for 5 days. If time passes a little longer, Yang Yu even feels like he can become a millionaire. Meteor Forest is really Yang Yu's home. This is at home, sitting and counting money. There are also some discount coins. The little dream demon went to find many ghost-type friends and surrounded the forest. If there are bad guys coming to eat the Overlord's meal today, you can play happily together. Gao Mao. Hey. Yang Yu, Hong Kong, good brothers, thank you for the feast yesterday. It allowed me to have a great time with my arms crossed in front of those friends. Sao Nansha. From the large off-road backpack behind Gao Mao, a Quarren Weng emerged. Quack. I'll go. Gao Mao, that's amazing. How come there are so many silly hippo chefs here? A surprised voice appeared behind Gao Mao. Lin Yu, a good brother in the cooking class, Gao Mao smiled and patted Lin Yu on the shoulder. Welcome, Yang Yu and Hong Kong nodded together. There are so many people, and they are still in the national competition. If they are used by brothers later, there will be no ambiguity, Lin Yu grinned, showing his white teeth. No problem. Yang Yu smiled and nodded. Here, no one is a fool. No matter how happy the contestants who seem to be enjoying their meal are now, there might be a point-grabbing battle later on. After all, players who dare to spend 15 points for dinner here must have enough points on their points wristband. Oh my god, this is so amazing. Yang Yu, it is indeed your masterpiece. Another new team arrived at the food festival venue at this time. Wang Yuqian from Hangzhou University, Lin Sheng from Southeast and Wang Zikan from Jiangdong, Yang Yu's old acquaintances, are all Grandma Lin's descendants. Chef Hippo, I should have thought of it a long time ago. Only you, Yang Yu, can do such an awesome operation. Wang Zikan came up and shook hands with Yang Yu. Yang Yu's Dede is particularly famous in the entire Zhangxiang city, especially the foundation of Dede and Xian. Then I saw 6 dumb hippo chefs cooking various delicacies with different flavors. If he no longer thinks that this is Yang Yu's masterpiece, he might as well find a piece of tofu and plunge into it. This meal couldn't have come at a better time. No matter what, most of the people who came here must have not eaten anything good during the competition. Just by looking at the voracious food, you can tell that their lives were miserable. Go and eat quickly. Remember to transfer the red envelope when you go back after eating. You won't lose the points. Profiteer. You are so familiar with us and you still miss our red envelopes, Wang Yuqian glared at the side. You don't have to give up the points, but you have to collect the money, Yang Yi said righteously. Although Yang Yu doesn't know how to thank Dede the hippos, Dede will definitely know. When the time comes, he will give the collected money to Dede, and Dede will definitely have a good idea. Yang Yu looked towards the upper reaches of the lake. Dede is right there, so close at hand. In just a moment, Dede can hold the little golden basin to collect small amounts of money. Those who want to eat the king's meal, please show up quickly, it's very tiring to wait. Come out early and solve it early, perfect. Yang Yu looked expectantly at the figures who were eating delicious food by the river. Eat less. We have an elf battle later. Madam, it's so delicious. Captain, look at this meat, it's so delicious. Yes, 15 points is so worth it. You can only get this with points in the meteor forest. You can't even buy it outside. Li Bin looked at the group of pig teammates around him with hatred. How can you people forget your mission under the temptation of delicious food? This is a competition. Contest. Contest. It's not a food festival. They are simply a bunch of pigheads who can't accomplish anything great. Captain, how about we just have a good meal? How boring is it to fight and kill? And there are so many people. So many talents are trying to take action, you idiot, let's go directly to the person who organized this food festival. He defrauded you of so many points, so he must have a lot of them, Li Bin gritted his teeth. But Captain, this meat is really delicious, only when you are full can you have the strength to continue the game. Shiza doesn't agree with each other. Li Bin suppressed his violent anger and glanced at the people around him with angry eyes. They had already agreed on it on the way. Eat first, don't be too full, and then go and grab points together. 15 points per person, as for the 200 coin deduction, you can just ignore it. 15 points per person. Now, how many people are there? Close to thousands of points. If you can snatch it, wouldn't it be possible to not only help the school get a good ranking, but also to shine? Li Bin felt like he was about to take off. That's the one. That's the freshman bastard, the one who asked Dream Demon to take the calculator and reset it to 0. Han Li of Qingyun University. Chen Qianling will never forget the figure of that person, the devil with the Dream Demon elf on his head. Okay. Junior Qianling, we must earn back this tone. 9-9 return to one plan. Let's go. Continue later. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Qiangxiao. Chapter 388. There are many people who have the same idea as Li Bin. When one person stands up, soon there will be others who can't help but want to grab points. If I could eat up these points. That's a real food festival. Not too delicious. Especially the organizer of the so-called First National Competition Meteor Forest Food Festival. The number of points is enough to make people excited. A person whose eyes are covered by the dense leaves of the forest, although it is not blinded by one leaf, but, his eyes are still covered. If you can't see the sky, you can't see the true strength of your opponent. You can take action, but it's not necessary. Wang Yuqian, Lin Sheng, and Wang Zikan looked calmly at those who came out en masse. Obviously, among those who are preparing to grab points here, they must have never been to the top battlefield in the sky to see the strength behind Yang Yu. Have you seen this river? Maybe a Gyarados will emerge from the river. The meaning of "you can take action, but it's not necessary" is naturally on Yang Yu's side. However, with Yang Yu's strength, it should probably be enough to deal with these people. Helping him is nothing more than the icing on the cake. To be honest, Wang Yuqian was very sure that under the river in front of them, the Salted Fish King must be inside. After all, the Salted Fish King had become a spirit. So many people, Hong Kong was a little frightened. Now that the sky was getting dark, he could clearly see that there were at least several groups. Counting them down, there are still more than 10 or 20 people. Hong Kong, don't worry, I'll beat you as much as you want. Gao Mao took a bite of a big chicken leg, and his mouth and hands were full of oil. He was so happy. Brothers are already ready. When it comes to elf battles, whether it's single combat or group battles, the players of the same age in the military camp are absolutely unambiguous. You must know that their training is not just 1v1, and there are often situations where one elf will challenge several elves alone. Ha ha ha, I heard that some people want to eat the king's meal, so it may not be up to you. Yang Yu's voice was extremely joyful at this time, as if he couldn't wait any longer, just waiting for someone to come out to eat the overlord meal. Ying ying ying. The little dream demon's calculator can't wait to reset to 0. Hee, king's meal, is that something you can eat if you want? Wu Yuqian was currently holding a temporary support made of tree branches with both hands. Although his legs were constantly shaking due to riding the Kentaro leader, his momentum was still as strong as a rainbow. Senior brother Qian, are all the Kenteros in the forest ambushed? Yang Yu grinned. That's right, Wu Yuqian couldn't help but smile, but the pain in his buttocks caused him to gasp. Have you ever asked Kentaro if you want to eat the overlord meal? He's so awesome, they should let their elf try it. Taste of horns. Yang Yuqiang suppressed the smile at the corner of his mouth, but senior brother Qian was still so, it made people laugh. Come out, Rumble Stone. And you, Owl. Hand over your points, Fire Beast. Strange power. Foresto. One after another, elves appeared behind these trainers who were preparing to take action. De Shiwa. Don't eat me. Don't eat me. It was another person who asked you to eat. You are eating the wrong person. There seemed to be something strange in the solemn atmosphere. If the dumb-mouthed flower accidentally evolves into a big eating flower, it will be easy to cause trouble. Yang Yu held his forehead, looking at the unusually happy elf, feeling a little nostalgic in his heart. But it seems that the opponent is Kojiro of the Rockets? Yedong. The moment the elves appeared together, the 6 silly hippo chefs who were cooking suddenly lit up their eyes with their superpowers. Here it is. A place to eat. Guests are not allowed to engage in elf battle in any area around Chef Hippo's cooking. Otherwise. Boom, boom, clang. Just when Yang Yu and Wu Yuqian were preparing to arrange the Kentaro army and the Ghost army, the dumb hippo chef instantly joined the battlefield with a pot in his left hand and a spatula in his right hand. The white headband on her head is still there, and the white apron on her chest is fluttering in front of her. Yeah, boom. The stupid hippo chef threw out the spatula in his right hand and pointed his sword at this group of uncivilized diners. Take action. Yang Yu. What the hell? Brother Shiu, what's wrong with you? Stop it. So handsome, such a handsome hippopotamus chef, Wang Yuqian never expected that Yang Yu had such a unique trick. The silly hippo chef used his superpower to control an egg from the bag of his apron and froze it in mid-air. Click. There was a crisp sound of an eggshell cracking. As the first drop of egg white falls, the showdown. Here we go. Zhyla. A ball of open fire was lit under the pot. At the same time, a bottle of golden cooking oil flew from the original cart. The oil dripped into the pot and boiled when it touched the pot. At the same time, the egg whites and egg yolks falling in the air were boiling in the sky. Driven by his ability, he began to rotate and stir in the air, and at the same time stagnate. Magic space. Zhyla. Come on soy sauce. Onions come. The silly hippo chef swung his shovel and at the same time swung a blow in the direction of the elves who wanted to cause trouble, the spiritual blade. Using the shovel as a carrier, it condenses superpowers and wields a spiritual blade with powerful moves and incredible flying speed. At the same time, the stagnant stirred golden egg liquid in the magic space escaped from the twisting space and fell into the pan that was already frying with oil. Zi-la. In the sky, pieces of scattered green onion fell. This is the product of the mental blade. When the green onions thrown into the sky are impacted by the mental blade, they can not only reduce a small amount of power, but also, can become exquisite chopped green onions. Drops of splashing egg liquid soon merged with the scattered green onions falling from the sky, like a green snow converging with the golden lake. The fire goes out. Put away the shovel. In everyone's confused eyes, the dumb hippo chef held a small pot in his hand and ran towards Yang Yu's direction. The food is served, the food is served. Warm chopped green onion and eggs. An egg, a green onion. Cooking is an art. The real deliciousness lies within a few inches. At the same time, the rumble stone that fell to the ground and lost its fighting power was dizzy, and there was a shallow mark on the hard stone on its body. Junior brother Han, is this stupid hippo chef that strong? Wu Yuqian's eyes stared straight at the round chopped green onion eggs on the plate in front of Yang Yu, and he couldn't help but drool. Smells, it smells so good. Another stupid hippo chef takes a small step. Hurry up, our distinguished guests are still waiting to be served. Please vote. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 389. Kung Fu Chef. In one dish, I easily defeated a powerful long stone. This. Are today's chefs already that awesome? If you're not awesome, how can you deal with guests who are looking for trouble? It looks like, the strength has crushed them. One pot, one shovel, one move, one dish. The silly hippo chefs take turns. A real chef can not only make fresh and delicious dishes, but also don't take it too easy when it comes to fighting monsters and other side jobs. When the 6 dumb hippo chefs cooked a round of their best dishes, they all stretched out the pot in their left hand and the spatula in their right hand. Yeah, boom. The long and honest voice carried irresistible power. If you bother yourself, get out of here and be neat. There are still guests who want to have a big dinner. For a moment, the remaining elves who had not yet been knocked down looked at the few poor little ones on the ground whose eyes began to spin in circles. For a moment. How about we take the master and run away? Don't let them escape, little dream demon, it's up to you. Yang Yu clapped his hands. Haha, we're here, we have to give him a surprise. Wu Yuqian supported the stand, stretched out his hand to make a circle with his index finger and thumb, leaned to his lips, and whistled towards the forest behind him. Boom 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 boom. Come on. It's finally my turn to play. Chief Kentaro followed the instructions in advance and led the cattle to run wildly near the forest. The crowd who were about to flee suddenly stopped. Another whistle. Moo. Chief Kentaro roared at the cattle behind him. It's time to turn around. Everyone who originally thought that the Kentaro group had fled away, found that the sound of the cows' hooves on the ground had become extremely loud again. What is going on? Why are those Kenteros actually willing to listen to humans' instructions? Wang Yuqian, who was already shocked by the actions of those idiot hippo chefs, was now a little confused about Wu Yuqian's whistle operation. Did he capture the leader of the Kentaro group? Lin Sheng guessed. Leader of Kentaro. I'm a turtle. Where can there be a whole group of elves? I also want to catch the leader. Catching the leader of the Kentaro group in the competition is such a cheat. Ah, Wang Zikan felt a little worried. Other people's operations are already so good, can they still be allowed to play happily? It's the silly Hippo Chef and the Kentaro group. Now, many ghosts have appeared in the forest. Looking at the little dream monster's yummy look, could it be another ghost companion found by the little dream demon? So, Wang Yuqian suddenly felt a little helpless in the national competition. The mass base in Meteor Forest. Meteor Forest is a forest for elves, not a forest for trainers. If a group of people who are very familiar with Meteor Forest, like these Kentaro groups, like these ghost elves, come to a strange place, the most important thing is to do mass work and have a mass base, maybe, looking for scorecards in the Meteor Forest. It is a very easy and relaxing thing. Could it be? Wang Yuqian became horrified. She suddenly thought of a question that most people would ignore. National competition, what is the competition? The strength of elite trainers from various universities and their teamwork abilities. What does the strength of elite trainers include? In addition to the combat power of raising elves, there is also the level of trust and tacit understanding between you and your own elves, and at the same time, there is also the ability to survive in the forest. There is also a temporary trust between the wild elves. Perhaps in the future national competition, if we bring in breeders who can get along better with wild elves, although the personal strength is not very strong, in the national competition, no matter how strong a person is, how can he compete with the entire group? What about the forest confrontation? Wang Yuqian looked upstream of the river. She had a premonition. When the final results of the entire forest team competition come out, perhaps Yang Yu's personal points will reach an extremely terrifying height. Return to zero. The little dream demon is so awesome now. There are so many bad people here who need to be rehabilitated. The little dream monster's eyes are shining. Devil, devil. Calculator mania. Death calculator. It's him. It's him. It's him. Qingyun University Hanli. At this time, among the people who were eating their meals and watching the farce, one person touched his head suspiciously and whispered to himself, "Does our Qingyun University have a figure like Hanli?" Except for a few people with super-powered elves who used teleportation to escape, the rest of them didn't dare to move. Watching those stupid hippo chefs cooking, it felt like they were serving a plate of side dishes, not to mention that there were groups of Kenteros running wildly in the forest behind them. Escape? Can he escape as fast as Kentaro who lives in the forest? Thinking about shit. The moment the emotional calculator's reset sound appeared here, these players who were about to have their points harvested shivered. Even. This is not the first time someone has tasted the horror calculator. Senior Qianling, what should I do? I can't fight and I can't escape, and I can't escape. It's our turn soon. Chen Qianling felt her legs trembling. Why? Did she lead her team, in a rhythm of destroying the team and giving away points? This is not an opponent we can afford to offend at all. Junior Qianling, is he really Han Li, a freshman at Qingyun University? How can he be a freshman here? His bracelet is the white light unique to freshmen. It can't be wrong. Chen Qianling gritted her teeth. His name, I will never forget, is Han Li of Qingyun University. The little dream demon pouted her little mouth and hummed. What are you talking about here? Hurry up and hand over your bracelet. The little dream demon wants to help you do the math. I guarantee that not a single penny of your money will be left behind, and everything will be returned to zero. Return to zero. The little dream demon pressed the reset button twice and took a look at these bad guys who like to eat Overlord's meal one by one, but... Ying ying ying. The little dream demon suddenly blinked. This woman looks so familiar. Is an old customer. Chen Qinling's expression suddenly changed. This dream monster, could he recognize her? The little dream demon immediately left the people in front of her and went to Chen Qianling to collect her bracelet. Old customers, of course, will be given priority. If you help little Menyao recharge 1000 deduction coins, you can be upgraded to a junior VIP return 0 customer, and you will be on call at any time, and you will be guaranteed not to have any points left. Don't be too inconvenient when it comes to jumping in line. If you fill up with 10,000 discount coins, upgrade to senior VIP. Even in a dream. The little dream demon will also come to your dream to help you reset it to 0. Ying ying ying. Such a considerate service, why not, get one? 45 minus 45, equals 0. Return to 0. Chen Qianling, cried. Coming, coming. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 390. What an injustice. This is really not a student of our Qingyun University. I have led the team for so many years, but I have never heard of a person like Han Li. The video of the first national competition Meteor Forest Food Festival spread throughout the temporary camps of all universities outside Meteor Forest. Words such as Han Li of Qingyun University, the powerful idiot hippo chef, the devil dream demon who deducts points with a calculator, Kentaro leader Wu Yuqian, etc., are all reflected in the madness of these resident teachers. Passed down, the camp became lively for a while. Especially in the temporary camp at Qingyun University, the gate of the camp has been squeezed down. Even though the crooked pillars are standing there tremblingly, people are still squeezing in. Even in the camp at Yenching University, there is no such honor. But teachers at Qingyun University don't want such an honor. He just wanted to ask one question. Han Li. Who is Tama? Look, there is no one named Han Li in the list of contestants from our school. The resident female teacher at Qingyun University looked sad and angry. What a bully. It's really such a bully. Can we do whatever we want just because there are so many people? The resident female teacher at Qingyun University discovered that there were even people from the Elf Alliance in the crowd. For a moment, the sadness and anger on her face could only be buried deep in her heart. That's not right. Why is Qingyun University currently only ranked 233rd? If Han Li really existed, it would be at least in the top 50, right? A teacher immediately pointed out the problem. Yes, the ranking of 233 is a bit low. It really can't be from Qingyun University. Who could that be? Let's go, let's go. You're not a student of Qingyun University. Where did you come from? Your own school doesn't recognize you. Let's go, let's go. The resident teachers at Qingyun University feel so tired. It's okay for you to come here. Why do you still need to nominate times? It's okay to mention the rankings, come in aggressively, and leave with disdain. Is it so real? People were leaving for tea, and the temporary camp that had been crowded was now empty. There was even a Qingyun University door plate falling from the door. The gate to the temporary camp collapsed again. Who is pretending to be a student of our school? Qingyun University Han Li. I'm going to fight you. Seeing the mess at the door, the resident female teacher suddenly burst into tears from the corners of her eyes. Too difficult. It's really hard for me. Yang Yu didn't know that there was another female teacher crying for him outside the meteor forest. Now, he was setting off towards the meteor lake in the meteor forest with Wu Yuqian on the back of a Kentaro. Yang Yu, do you think our points are enough to help our school get a good ranking? Hong Kong looked at the bracelet in his hand that had almost over 400 points and couldn't be too happy. Yang Yu did not keep all the points he grabbed in his own hands, but distributed them to Hong Kong, Gao Mao, senior fellow apprentices Qian and Zhou. The fat water does not flow to outsiders' fields. Yang Yu is not short of points now. The revenue from admission tickets to the food festival alone is almost in the thousands. As for the final boss behind the entire national competition, maybe he will appear soon. It depends on the performance of other people in your school. For a top-ranked university, this score should be considered pretty good for you personally. Wu Yuqian swayed on the back of leader Kantaro's ox. Now I don't have to rush much, I can ride a bull slowly in the forest, and I don't have to worry about my butt continuing to hurt, which is pretty good. Which elf university is Brother Wu in? Hong Kong continued to ask. Anyway, it's not normal. Brother Niu, wait, Gao Mao, who was at the end, suddenly found that, the Kantaro he was sitting on seemed a little unable to carry him. Gao Mao, you are too heavy. Yang Yu and Hong Kong couldn't help but laugh on the back of the cow. Sao Nansha. When Quarren Wen himself appeared, Gao Mao Brother Niu finally couldn't bear it anymore and sat down directly on the spot. I'm so tired. Gao Mao, walk, Yang Yu smiled. Let's just go, this mountainous terrain is not enough for me to walk on. Gao Mao wanted to put Guo Ran Wen, who had emerged from him, into his backpack, but it doesn't seem to be of any use. Sure enough, Wen, hurry back to the elf ball, or you can walk on the mountain road by yourself. Sao Nansha. Sure enough, Wen returned to the elf ball by himself. This little elf is quite interesting. Haha, I'm at Northwest Elf University, Wu Yuqian smiled, but our school's team competition ranking won't be too bad, and of course it won't be like Xingjing and Yanjing. Fight for the first place, in short, you can still go to the elf secret realm. Northwest Elf University. Strong, Hong Kong and Gao Mao, who followed on foot, both sighed. Gao Mao, you'd better walk, you can't walk faster than riding a bull. Hong Kong looked at Gao Mao's strong and powerful body, and his trembling belly even had a sense of rhythm. That's right. This forest is no different. It's much easier than training in the military camp, Gao Mao grinned. What does the elf secret realm look like? What's in it? Yang Yu was also somewhat interested when talking about the elf secret realm. The elf secret realm is actually more like a forest reserve. In short, some breeders will do some maintenance there every year without interfering with the normal life of the elves. In this way, when it is opened again after a while, the secret realm will be open again. There are enough wild elves, Wu Yuqian said. By the way, do you know why this year the competition will be held in the Meteor Forest instead of the Pearl Forest? Wu Yuqian suddenly changed the topic, and his slightly serious tone made Yang Yu and others startled. Maybe next year, Meteor Forest will become a secret protected area. Although I don't know what big things happened in Meteor Forest before, but after the competition in the past few days. Wu Yuqian paused and continued. There are a lot of wild Gyarados appearing in the Meteor Forest, and the ghost elves have become more active. Also, I found that there are some ripe fruits in the Meteor Forest even in early spring. The entire forest has a tendency to develop into a secret protected area. I guess that there may be incredible elves evolving in the Meteor Forest, and they are full of vitality, thus bringing such incredible changes to the Meteor Forest. This moment, Yang Yu was shocked. What senior brother Qian said is absolutely correct. Grandma Lin's Hu Di is the super evolution completed in the Meteor Forest. The dead trees are springing up, and the vitality formed by super evolution will indeed affect the entire forest. Regarding the super evolution of Hu Di, the top information of the entire Elf Alliance is blocked. If all this is Brother Qian's speculation, this is too terrible. Senior Brother Qian, he hides his secret. Meteor Lake, we're here. Deep in the secret realm, deep in the forest, you're on. I still have some work on hand for the time being, so let's continue with it. I'll start updating it tomorrow for all trainers. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 391. Chapter 381 Get Together. 15. Huh, this is the largest lake in the entire Meteor Lake, right? It's so beautiful. Every forest has its most secret place. With a lake, there is life. This lake, and the rivers upstream and downstream of the lake, give birth to the vitality of the entire meteor forest. Wu Yukin sighed slightly. Brother Wu is still educated. Anyway, I just need to Hong Kong felt that he had worked hard for so many days. Now, seeing the meteor lake that suddenly opened up, he finally felt satisfied. Returning to Meteor Lake again, Yang Yu felt a sense of relief in his heart. The fatigue from the journey had faded early. Hey, there seems to be something on this lake. Wu Yukin's eyes changed slightly, and then he asked, why are those long-tailed monsters on the water? Long-tailed monster on the water. Hong Kong, Gao Mao, Zhao Xiaozhou, and others all looked towards the water in surprise. Just under the sun, the elf figure is getting closer and closer. What is it if it's not a long-tailed monster? Let me go. Why are there so many magi carp? Where? Oh my god, what's going on with those carp kings in front? Why are they lined up so neatly? They couldn't have stolen from our military camp, right? The teams are all small squares, and they must have received professional training. Behind Gao Mao, Lin Yu, who had also fallen into the arms of the military camp, was now feeling poorly. Why does it feel like the queue is even better than ours? Gao Mao looked sad and angry. Am I not even as good as a carp king? Gao Mao, the queue is not neat because of your size. You can even stand up to 2 people. When we form a team, you occupy 2 positions. What nonsense are you talking about? Have you forgotten what it feels like to be on top of Mount Tai? Gao Mao glared at Lin Yu. You're the one with thin arms and legs, are they swollen? No. Brother Mao, calm down. Lin Yu's face suddenly changed, and he had begun to feel the fear of a big man. Ha 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 ha. The group burst into cheerful laughter. Look, these Carp King squadrons are really well trained. It's almost, we won't enter some secret base, right? Gao Mao couldn't help but swallowed his saliva. At this time, the 6th Special Agent team of Magi Carp has arrived at the shore with 2 long-tailed monsters. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The 2 long-tailed monster hands held the scorecards tightly with their hand-shaped tails, and they also held many in their hands, running in the same direction. Tree house. This is a points card, Zhao Xiaozhou exclaimed. He has always had a great need for point cards. Even in his dreams, he thought that he could find many point cards, but now. What the hell are these long-tailed monsters? Are all the wild elves in the meteor forest coming to compete with them for point cards? This game has become like this? I'll go. I told you why I couldn't find any scorecards along the way. It turns out that there is a lurking opponent in the forest. Gao Mao's small eyes, which were narrowed due to obesity, opened in an instant, and they were round and round. Full of shock. This needs to be planned in advance. It must be an organized and premeditated operation to obtain points cards. Is there a big boss behind this meteor lake? Wu Yukin sat behind Chief Kentaro. Even with his broad at this time, I feel like I can't keep up with my thoughts. This is simply unbelievable. In addition to the water, even in the forest, right above their heads, there were long-tailed monsters moving through the branches. Their tails also have more or less point cards. I'll go. Wait, how many things have you done? Yang Yu looked at the moving meteor lake and the forest area next to the tree house, and couldn't help but feel speechless. Needless to say, all this must have been arranged by Dai Dai. Dai's wisdom as a king is coupled with powerful superpowers. Although he is still far from being able to unleash a waterfall of superpowers like Super Hu Di, it is enough to set up a big game of chess around Meteor Lake. Yang Yu just asked Dai to take Xian King, Xiao Bao, and Xiao Xiao to Meteor Lake in advance before the game to get rid of the Pokeballs and gain a freer world, but he never thought about it. There will be such a huge point card collection event. The treehouse in Meteor Lake. There must be someone with extraordinary power there, Wu Yuqian was convinced. Chirp. Suddenly, something seemed to jump out of the roof of the treehouse, rising upward like a rocket. What is that? Hong Kong shouted. An elf with extraordinary power. Wu Yuqian's eyes suddenly lit up. While the entire team was excited, Yang Yu was the only one whose eyes were blank. The little elf that flew out just now looked very familiar to Yang Yu. Isn't it that little natural bird that was born with the wrong skill points and added intelligence points to strength? That little natural bird. Now you can jump out of Lao Huidi's treehouse. Choo choo choo. Followed by a rapid cry. The little natural bird that jumped into the sky was like a bomb that landed quickly, and it was extremely penetrating, like an angry bird. Yeah. In the treehouse, there was a sound that seemed to be a bit painful. He stared at the extra holes on the roof of the tree and sighed. If Master Hu came back and saw that his house had been made like this by the little natural bird. Dada touched his head. Yeah. There was an extra spoon in Dede's hand, and Dede added superpowers to the spoon. Soon, the spoon immediately flew out, and at the same time, he caught the small natural bird in free fall in the air. After catching the little natural sparrow firmly, he quickly ran towards the door with his feet on his feet. It's Yang Yu's aura. Here he comes. Amazing. The thing that catches the natural bird, is it a spoon? With a spoon like this, could it be that the elf in the tree house, is who did it? Look, there's something there. When the stupid pink and chubby body appeared at the door of the tree house, Hong Kong and Gao Mao were already stunned. Isn't this Yang Yu's stupidity? Dada quickly climbed down from the ladder of the tree house, then stretched out his arms and ran towards Yang Yu's direction. There are no superpowers. No superpowers are required. Yang Yu smiled and turned over from Kentaro. This long-lost meeting. It was just like being in the aquarium, at the entrance of the venue when Yang Yu went to work at the aquarium every day. It was as if Dede would be waiting for him at the door. Now, it's the same. Although it only takes a moment to meet in the meteor forest. But isn't this kind of meeting now also a kind of agreement in the past? Dude at this moment has no superpowers and does not need superpowers. Because the bond of friendship and emotion is far more powerful than superpowers. Roar. Meteor Lake. The salted fish king, reveals his huge body from the bottom of the water. King, come. Choo choo choo. The little natural bird lowered its head and looked at the ground with dull eyes. Shihu, isn't it too high here? Put me down quickly. A certain little natural creature that had been forgotten in mid-air felt shivering for a while. It probably forgot how it jumped to such a high place. Choo choo choo. Trainers, do you understand what I mean? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 392. It's really strange. Why is this scorecard in the forest today as if it had been licked by a dog? It's so clean that I can't even find it. No one will search this area first, right? Even if there is, there shouldn't be none left. This isn't right. Could it be that, even the ghost elves in the forest are trying to compete with us for points cards? Ha ha ha, how could? Squeak, squeak, squeak. The team of 4 who were looking for scorecards under the tree all raised their heads. A long-tailed weird hand pointing in their direction on the tree and laughing, seemed to be laughing at a group of pig heads. Look, what's behind the tail of that long-tailed monster? Point card. Okay, it turns out that all the point cards in the forest were stolen by you little guys. Arbo Snake, Let's go. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The long-tailed monster's expression changed, and he immediately started running quickly on the branches. Hurry up and chase. Don't let this long-tailed monster get away. There was a roar in the forest. A chase battle begins. King Magikarp. Don't run, stop. I didn't expect that walking on the lake would have such benefits. Ha ha ha, you can't find anything even if you wear iron shoes, and it takes no effort at all. I knew there must be points cards on the lake too. Captain Lou is mighty. Ha ha ha. With these points, we may have a chance to get good resource rewards this year. For the points card. King Magikarp. Long-tailed monster. Stop us now. Go ahead, jewel starfish, and catch them. Mosquito repellent warrior. Speed up and make sure to get all the scorecards behind these Magikarp King. Cluck K. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The 8th Special Agent team of Magikarp and the long-tailed monster behind them, didn't panic at all when they saw the pursuers behind them. CLU. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The long-tailed monster is an elf in the forest who is very good at playing tricks on trainers, and Slippery Autumn is like a loach. Unless the difference in strength is too large, it is almost impossible for the trainer to be tricked by his familiarity with the forest. Catch. Moreover, how could the long-tailed monsters be so stupid as to provoke an opponent they can't afford to provoke? Act on Plan 3. The long-tailed monster private immediately gave further instructions. The battle plan made in advance is to have sufficient psychological preparation when encountering a situation like this, even if there are so many enemies behind you who want to snatch points. They are not afraid at all. Because there is also a planned feast ahead for chasing the enemy. The well-trained Magikarp phalanx immediately started to move. At the moment of making a decision, all Magikarp turned to the right, using the streamlined trajectory of their collective bodies to instantly deviate from the original channel. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The long-tailed monster's hand on the wooden board behind immediately grasped the rope tied to the wooden board. At this moment of sudden change of direction of travel, a huge centrifugal effect would occur. The trajectory of the wooden plank suddenly marked a 7 shape. The next second, the Magikarp Kings all turned to the left again and drew the remaining half of the 7 backwards again. Z shaking. What kind of operation is this? The Magikarp in the meteor forest have all become spirits. The enemy behind him exclaimed. At this time, the Carp King's phalanx, which has entered the third plan track, has stabilized. The 2 long-tailed monsters immediately raised their bodies with their tails, and then... Damn it! I was actually fooled by a monkey. Those long-tailed monsters, how dare they make faces at labor? Them. They actually gave the middle finger. Too disgusting. Mosquito repellent warrior, use the water cannon. Hum these bastard monkeys hard. Gem starfish, use high-speed stars. When the long-tailed monsters saw the enraged people using attacks in their direction. Zhizhizzy, now. Ho ho ho. A huge blue elf with a ferocious mouth, emerged from the bottom of the water. What? Gyarados, Gyarados. Under the lake, there's a Gyarados. How can this be? The sudden appearance of Gyarados caused a huge splash of water, and his cold eyes stared directly at these naive trainers who wanted to take action against the scorecards. It's simply wishful thinking. Puff puff puff. The long-tailed monsters immediately stretched out their hands and continued to make faces and stick out their tongues at the trainers who were affected by the huge waves and became very embarrassed as a result. The third plan, success. Cluck K. Ka. The Magikarp were jumping excitedly at the front. Roar. Go back and recover quickly. Leave these people to me. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The long-tailed monsters immediately stopped making noise, and all solemnly saluted Gyarados. Guaranteed to complete the task. Cluck K. Magikarp's 8th Agent Squad. Target Meteor Lake Headquarters. Rush At this time, Gyarados, who was on a blocking mission, watched the Magikarp Kings reach a safe distance, and then grinned. He set his sights on these trainers. It depends on you, if you dare to move or not. Captain, what should we do now? What should we do? We are in the lake now, and we are still on the elf's back. If a fight breaks out, we won't know when we will fall into the lake. Looking at Gyarados, why don't you have any intention of fighting an elf battle? How about, let's go to land as soon as possible. Brothers, let's retreat. When Gyarados saw these people preparing to leave the lake and head towards the land, he slowly closed his eyes. Mission completed. Continue to sleep. Ah, it's so fun, so fun. I want to get on the raft too. Saunansha. At this time, on the surface of Meteor Lake, the Carp King squadrons who had completed their last batch of tasks were returning one after another, and now a new mission has begun. Magikarp Travel Raft, the quality is not trustworthy. The person who almost stepped off the raft was wet and even a little cold, especially his feet and trouser legs. As soon as the person stood on it, the raft sank into the water. However, I can't resist such an incredible experience. Yang Yu didn't know what to do. The game started to go a little awry out of nowhere. It felt like something strange had been mixed in. Look at the salted fish king in the lake again. Gao Mao's little top hat has been tied tightly to the back of the salted fish king's tail. Now, the stinging jellyfish's little top hat is no longer the agate jellyfish with only 2 straps. It even has one that you may not be able to untie. Not thigh. It's the thigh. Hold on to your thighs and never let go. Wen Renfang Chen. Here. The last piece of the 403 puzzle, now, finally becomes complete again at Meteor Lake. 2. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Renhuo Xiangxiao. Chapter 393. Chapter 383 The bright moon is in the sky, 35. Sure enough, everyone gathered near Meteor Lake. The people who really want to fight in the end are here. A battle that determines the final team ranking. But I want to know why, those people can still surround a tree house? It's not fair. How about you go take a look? Go. 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 Above the lake. A full moon is rising. It seems like a familiar scene. Yang Yu looked at the reflection of the full moon in the lake and was filled with emotions for a while. The artistic conception is beautiful, but the scene of the duel between elves under the bright moon must also be beautiful, Wu Yuqian sighed. When Renfang Chen's eyes followed the crowd and landed on Hang Jiang's territory, in the final ranking battle, I kind of want to fight Hang Jiang. Yang Yu patted Wenren Fang Chen on the shoulder. How are you doing all the way here? It's okay. With Yongjira here, unless the opponent is too strong, you can still escape by teleporting. Is the time up? This is really going to be a decisive battle under the moon. In that case, I will stay with you until the end. Wu Yuqian saw the person coming from the sky and stood up straight. A battle between elves at night, a decisive battle until dawn? It's quite interesting. Can the national competition still be played like this? Yang Yu was very surprised. Wu Yuqian said, the team competition is more about freedom. It does not have fixed competition procedures like the individual competition, because in the forest team competition, anything can happen, just like you this year, junior brother Han. Before the final points are settled, there is still a battle that can change the final ranking. Well, looking at this today, night has come. Bai Diao. Hold head high. Around Meteor Lake, bursts of howls of elves sounded. This is the excited howl of the trainers who are aroused by their emotions and ignited with a fiery fighting spirit. The entire meteor lake is like an ultimate battlefield ignited at night. Above the lake, the strong ones compete for hegemony. And those cheering people around were excited for the powerful strength of the elite trainers. Hold head high. In the night sky, a Chinese Valentine's Day bluebird spread its crystal cotton-like wings in the sky, and the vigorous dragon power was rising above the meteor forest. Call. When more and more trainers around the lake rose into the sky, Yang Yu looked at his friends around him. Let's go, Yang Yu. Feel free to perform an amazing elf battle in the sky. Leave the battle on land to us. Wenren Fangchen stretched out his right hand. Come on, this time next year, we will definitely be able to join the final battlefield in the sky. Hong Kong's face was filled with envy, but more importantly, it was expectations for the future. Gao Mao squeezed over, you will see how powerful I am later, let them taste what it means, the taste of mirror reflection. Sao Nansha. Stay. Yeah. He stayed beside Yang Yu and took a step forward. He opened his big eyes and looked at the star-studded night sky. With a firm gaze, he stretched out his hand to move the brim of his hat. Put your hat on. At this time, the golden conch cap on Dada's head also opened his eyes. Superpower, release. In the meteor lake, Salted Fish King joins the aerial battlefield. The huge body was soaked in the moonlight, and the scales exuded fluorescent light, especially the place at the back of the body. A dull figure appeared. Here comes the last piece of the puzzle for Yang Yu's team. Yang Yu's dumb king, Wang Yuqian exclaimed in Hang Jiang's team. How come? How is this possible? In addition to the giant Gyarados, he also has the final ace. At this time, among the outstanding freshmen in Hangzhou, there were 3 outstanding students who had a brief anxiety with Yang Yu during military training: Wenren Yunhai, Murong Wentao, and finally Wang Jian. At this time, since they only had flying elves, they were unable to join the elves' battle in the air. When they saw the figure of Slow King floating in the air behind the giant Gyarados that took off, for a moment, I felt a little voiceless. This, how long has it been? With a cry of sadness, there was no longer much jealousy, and all that was left was full of sighs. This. How to let them catch up? Choo choo choo. Above Lao Huidi's tree house, there is undoubtedly another tree hole. This time, the little natural bird's head is stuck on the tree branch again. Just in time, I can watch Shihu's wonderful performance from high in the sky. King Slow. This is almost the top level of combat power. Even if you are an elite trainer certified by the Elf Alliance, you are still at the top of that level, right? Hu Jing from Yanjing University is sitting behind the Kixi bluebird. She could feel the Tanabata bluebird's fighting spirit against the giant Gyarados. Astonishingly, driving the Chinese Valentine's Day bluebird forward. Hu Jing, this opponent, let me do it first. Pakasi. Yanjing Cai Swanyi. Why, how can this game be without us? Jiaotong University, Zhang Huiyu and Wang Kaizhu ignored all the crowds and came to Yang Yu's side. Of course, count me in, Fudan Jin Yifei came gracefully. Fu Changlin. It's so lively here, junior brother Han, count me in. Wu Yuqian and his Bai Diao joined the battlefield. Xianan, Zhang Meng. The orange-red fire-breathing dragon with strong flames burning behind it was looking at the Salted Fish King with stern eyes. This battle, it wanted to try. Can Charizard's flames defeat this giant Gyarados? Even if water restrains fire, so what? Flame can completely evaporate water. Hangzhong, Luo Feng. Ho ho ho. The corner of Luo Feng's mouth curled up, wondering how fat his Gyarados was, so he actually got together to have an exciting duel, but just what Luo Feng wants. Hangzhong, Wenhongyu. University of Science and Technology, Yangfei. University of Science and Technology, Jinjiang. It's so terrible there. The fight between gods. You didn't know that 2 days ago. That's what I said. There's this really big Gyarados, 7 heads. 7 heads. Kikiki, Kitu. Is this the person you are talking about? Are you kidding me? Let me tell you, the 7 heads also include the one led by Hangzhong Luofeng. Maybe one will pop up in the meteor lake later. Don't look at it. There is only one now. It's extra big, don't scare you until I cry. And, will it still show up? To be fair, how come there are 2 duels? Then use the simplest way. Good. 2 little bees are flying among the flowers, flying left, flying right, flying. I'll lay stones on you. I win. I'll fight Yang Yu later. Yang Yu. Kevin continued for a while. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 395. Chapter 384 The Wind Rises, 45. It seems, I am the one who qualified for the first game by winning. Hu Jing looked around and smiled softly. The sitting Kixie Bluebird slowly came to Yang Yu's opponent's position. The masters around them were stunned and disappointed, even hating their own unsatisfactory hands. There may be a chance to meet you in the individual competition after the team competition. Don't be discouraged here. Damn it, it's all my fault for not being able to control my hands. I obviously wanted to produce a rock, but why did it end up being a piece of paper? In the end, it got clicked by your scissors, otherwise I would have won. Come on, your rock-paper-scissors skills are too bad. Give them the battlefield. No matter who is fighting against Yang Yu, they don't feel that this quota is a waste, because here, everyone's strength at least recognizes each other, and there is no slightest bit of water. What a pity. I should have played against him once when I was an exchange student at Shito, Wang Kai's sighed. Zhang Huiyu showed rare regret. Yes, if it weren't for the confusion of age, it turns out that I also made such a mistake that I shouldn't have made. Ha ha ha, Lao Zhang, everyone makes mistakes. Don't act like a scholar, and don't be so rigid sometimes, Wang Kai's laughed. Zhang Huiyu was speechless, then faintly uttered 4 words. Watch the game first. The rule of battle is that there are no rules. No matter how many elves are sent to the venue, it's all okay. Hu Jing reminded lightly. Yang Yu nodded, I understand. In the aerial duel that was triggered in advance 2 days ago, Yang Yu saw a different battle. The forest group battle was not just 1v1 among elves. This is a free-for-all with no rules. Sister Mi-chun, take me to the air. Yeah. Hu Jing slowly rose from the Kixie Bluebird's body, and the purple super light around her steadily led her to stand in the air. Go, Warrior Eagle. Hu Jing did not directly send the Chinese Valentine's Day Bluebird as the first attack, but chose another flying elf of hers. This was the elf she accidentally obtained on the other side of the Pacific, in the World Trainer Masters competition. When the white crown feathers on the head of the warrior eagle exudes a silvery holiness under the moonlight, the 3 feathers of the crown feathers, at this time, are like the blue triangle on the head of Gyarados, the edge, like a blade. The coverts of both wings spread out reddish-brown traces in the air, and the navy blue on the lower part of the body brings a sharpness to this reddish-brown heaviness. Here comes Hu Jing's warrior eagle. This is a big battle, and it needs an extraordinary elf to take the lead. The warrior eagle is brave enough to not fear death. This is an excellent character in an elf battle. Yes, the warrior eagle will lead the entire team, to form a momentum of fighting to the end, and as the leading eagle of this momentum, he will definitely be at the forefront. Yang Yu was surprised, the unique warrior eagle in North America. King Xian Yu, do you feel the magnificent fighting spirit permeating the sky? Roar. The sound as deep as the abyss meant that the salted fish king was ready for battle. In this extremely repressed voice, the battle rage that had not been ignited for a long time in the eyes of the Salted Fish King, sparkled at this moment. A single spark can start a prairie fire. Dumb. Yeah. Yang Yu stood across the sky and faced Hu Jing. Such an elf battle. In the sky, a full moon shrouded the forest with its glowing light. The moonlight was like water, and the gentle night wind blew by. At this time, I didn't feel any chill at all. At the feet, the meteor lake reflects the reflection of the full moon. The sparkling waves are accompanied by some rising water vapor. This space is mysterious and unpredictable. Everything was just right. Standing in the sky, fighting under the moon, this artistic conception is so beautiful. Wu Yuqian's eyes flickered slightly, and he sighed inwardly. Then, his eyes changed. The wind is blowing. Warrior Eagle. Follow the wind. Hold head high. Under the night sky, the warrior eagle flaps its strong wings, leading the surrounding air environment around its body, forming a cyclonic circulation. This cyclonic circulation can not only double the speed of the warrior eagle, if anything else friendly elves can also play the same role in. Is it wind? What blocks the wind is also windy. As long as it disrupts the trajectory of the cyclonic circulation of the downwind move, then the continuous effect of this move can be destroyed in advance. The moves in the elf world are more or less different from those in the game, and the move Shunfeng is one of them. The power of a move does not mean that this move is unsolvable. The cyclonic circulation formed by the wind is a wind-like protective layer around you. While increasing your speed, you can also reduce the damage of some moves through the protective layer formed. And the weakness of this protective layer. Just use the wind to disintegrate. This is like a person who usually sings very well. As long as Yang Yu is sent to interfere with that person's singing by singing out of tune, then that person's singing rhythm will easily follow the out of tune. This is the same reason. Salted Fish King, use Tornado. The Salted Fish King snorted softly. In fact, he had a more effective move, but it was not fun to use that move. It's been a long time since I've moved my muscles and bones properly, and my old waist feels a little weak. Now, finally, we have an interesting battle between elves. The Salted Fish King soared into the sky in an instant. So fast. This wave of air, the space is not enough, we have to retreat. Yang Yu himself was stunned. The sudden jump of the Salted Fish King caused a shock in front of his eyes, which was no less than the feeling of teleportation. The oncoming wave of air, if it hadn't been protecting him. Yang Yu felt like he was about to be sucked in for a moment. Warrior Eagle, tear him apart. Hu Jing's eyes were calm. She had some experience of the speed of the Salted Fish King. Similarly, even though the Salted Fish King was very powerful, she still believed in her elf and her own strength as an elite trainer. Air battle. Hu Jing looked at the giant Gyarados attacking from the sky. If you fly too high, you may get electrocuted easily. Hu Jing whispered slightly, and then her momentum immediately became high. Warrior Eagle, spread your claws, use Gyarados' body as a claw sharpener. Sharpen it. Your weapons, get stronger with each battle. Hold head high. The powerful claws of the warrior eagle tore away in the direction of the Salted Fish King. In his eyes, there was a flame that was not afraid of fear, and the battle rage in the eyes of the Salted Fish King suddenly merged. Tornado. A white light flashed across the sky. The wind is coming. Got windy. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Xiangxiao. Chapter 396. Chapter 385 Dragon. Of. Dance. 55. The claws of the warrior eagle still landed on the edge of the tornado. Under the strong attraction of the tornado, the warrior eagle flapped its wings and soared. While slashing the air at close range, it distanced itself from the tornado. Hold head high. The eyes of the warrior eagle exuded a strong fighting spirit, and a cheerful and high-pitched bird song came out of its mouth. Such little elves, born to fight against wind and rain. This is not an attack, but a show of skill. Tornadoes are just a common occurrence in the elf life of warrior eagle. This time's tornado may even be a little smaller. Warrior eagle, you did a great job. If it were an ordinary flying elf, there would still be the threat of such a tornado, but for the warrior eagle who fights the wind and waves all the year round, it's not enough. Hu Jing cheered. Go on, sharpen your claws. Yang Yu had a new understanding of elves like warrior eagle. While sighing in his heart about the magic of the elf world, he also had a more passionate fighting will for this elf battle. Salted Fish King, use our best moves. The Salted Fish King in the sky suddenly felt a little pain in his head. His master seemed a little difficult to take care of. The Salted Fish King has many tricks that I am good at, but master, you just added the word we. Would not it be? Want to use noise? But opponents who like to charge like this are more interesting. Roar. The Salted Fish King looked at the warrior eagle rising into the sky, and let out the most powerful roar. Once again, he shook off his thick tail, like a spring being compressed, and charged towards the warrior eagle at the top of the sky. This time when he lifted off into the air, the Salted Fish King added an extra set of torque brought by his tail, making his speed even faster than before. Hold head high. The warrior eagle puts its head down and its wings are in a position to withstand the least resistance. The whole appearance is like a sharp arrow falling from the sky, a protective layer formed by the wind, guided by the surrounding airflow. The falling speed of the warrior eagle was like a comet about to hit the ground, and it fearlessly collided with the Gyarados rising from below. Brave bird, attacks. The surroundings of the warrior eagle once again formed a brighter white light than before, like a white rainbow penetrating the sun, and the Salted Fish King below was no exception. Under the moonlight, the huge blue body stabbed towards the sky like a blue sword. Go. Salted fish, thrust. No fancy embellishments. When the white and blue peaks collided fiercely, the entire surrounding area of Meteor Lake could feel the throbbing from the bottom of their hearts. Roar. The Salted Fish King felt a long-lost burning pain in his head. When the eagle's claws collided, they were like two sharp blades, scraping out sparks on the scales on his body. Pain is the best nourishment for condensing anger. The warrior eagle will never feel uncomfortable. Even if it fights against the wind and waves, it will not be like this now. It is like hitting a body of steel. Its body is made of flesh, but when it cuts across the scales of the Salted Fish King. But it's like trying to leave marks on steel with your claws. The warrior eagle, like Gyarados, will only fall on the way forward. The wound on the front is a kind of honor, the most proud medal for the warrior eagle. A worthy opponent. The warrior eagle gasped for air, and the silver light of the feathers on its crown shone on its claws. At this time, it had experienced sharpening for the first time in the tornado, and the second time when it collided with the giant Gyarados. The sharpened claws were faintly red and burning. Next time brave bird's onslaught. The warrior eagle dragged its painful body and flew towards the sky again. The higher the better, the higher the better. Hu Jing looked deeply into the night sky. On the night sky, through the huge full moon, she could see the shadow of the warrior eagle rising into the sky. Regardless of the scars on the body, the warrior eagle's attack will definitely be more terrifying than the next time. They know very well that the higher they swoop down, the more powerful their moves will be. Kixie Blue Bird, prepare to join the battle. Hu Jing took a deep breath. The sharpened claws of the warrior eagle can not only improve the attack ability of the warrior eagle, but also increase the hit rate of hitting vital points. However, the warrior eagle's fierce attack used at such a terrifying level. Hu Jing was excited, but also very worried. Hold head high. The eagle soars above the 9 heavens. A chirp from high in the sky frightened countless flying elves in the forest. The foundation of Yanjing Elf University is really terrifying. The elf warrior eagles from North America can be cultivated here to be so powerful. At this time, Wu Yuqian felt the fighting spirit of his subordinates. It also wants to take off, to compete with that warrior eagle. The claws are maintained with a metal coating all year round, and through combat, the steel claws are allowed to sharpen. There is only one explanation. Yes, Hu Jing's warrior eagle was cultivated using this method, and the metal coating used is the very famous Flying T-2 metal coating in the Elf Alliance. Cai Swanyi nodded. I haven't seen this warrior eagle in last year's national competition. Could it be that he went to North America to capture it during the World Masters competition at that time? Wu Yuqian was surprised. Cai Swanyi did not answer, but it could be seen from his expression that Wu Yuqian was obviously right. The brave bird's fierce attack under the T-2 metal coating. Wu Yuqian's eyes brightened. Now we have something good to watch. Coming. Cai Swanyi's deep voice undoubtedly made everyone understand. The warrior eagle, which has reached its current flight altitude limit, begins the second warrior bird attack dive. Higher, faster and stronger than before. Roar. The salted fish king raised his head and let out an excited roar. This kind of collision and confrontation between bodies has not ignited the battle rage in the salted fish king for a long time. Now, this warrior eagle is like a spark, igniting the fuse on the salted fish king. The huge body of the salted fish king was stagnant in the air at this moment. Isn't it possible? Is that move about to happen? Including Luo Feng from Hangzhou University, all had an incredible thought in their minds at this time. That giant Gyarados. How is it possible to know the dance of dragons? Roar. The body of the salted fish king formed an incredible totem for a moment of stasis. At the same time, in this totem, a mysterious and ever-changing dance began. Underneath the meteor lake. All Gyarados, all Magikarp, remember this totem mark of dragon dance deeply in their minds. The dragon has a move called Dragon of Dance. Dance of Dragons. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 397. Dance of Dragons. The most incredible transformational move among dragon-type tricks. This is not. How could Gyarados master this move? The most surprised person among the crowd was Xiaoyu from Hangzhou University. Even for the dragon-type elves themselves, it is not easy to master the dance of the dragon. In addition to their own strength needing to reach around the elite level, the elf's talent and understanding also need to be very good. Not all dragon-type elves can master the unpredictable dragon dance in dragon-type moves. The speed of Gyarados has increased again. Don't forget, Gyarados' own attack capabilities are going to be improved again. The physical attack of Gyarados itself is already extremely terrifying. The brave bird attacks. Will the brave eagle win? Hu Jing couldn't help but clenched her hands. Dragon Dance is one of the moves that all dragon elves most want to master, including her Tanabata blue bird, but she still can't do a complete dragon dance. Hold head high. The salted fish king under the full moon, the moment he completed the last dance of the dragon dance, Hu Jing's Chinese Valentine's Day blue bird, suddenly made a sharp dragon cry towards the huge figure that was rapidly ascending. What happened? Sonic Dragon. He came out on his own. Xian and Zhongmeng's expression changed, and one of his pokeballs opened on its own, and a faint dust began to rise in the sky. It's a desert dragonfly. Sting Dragon King. The Lizard King. No, it was the dragon dance of the Gyarados, that aroused the strong desire of all dragon elves to fight, causing them to appear from the elf balls themselves. Ah! Many dragon, why are you out too? Xiaoyu's eyes were still looking at the shadow left by Gyarados and Dragon Dance in the sky, but she only felt a flash of light around her, and her own mini-dragon appeared on his own. Kixie Bluebird. Wan Kaizu stared blankly at the dragon and flying elf sitting under him. Are you going to take action against that Gyarados too? Wan Kaizu's Kixie Bluebird nodded. Dragon elves have always had their own pride. The dragon elves who appeared outside the battlefield of the elf battle felt an instinctive pressure, especially at the moment when the dragon dance in the sky was completed. He's not a dragon, but why does he possess the most mysterious dragon-type move? Do you dare to challenge the majesty of the dragon? All dragon elves have joined the battle. Yang Yu, let your Gyarados get away quickly. The group of dragon elves triggered by Dragon Dance will take action. If all the dragon furies attack the Gyarados, they will be seriously injured, Zhang Huiyu shouted loudly. Road. Just because Gyarados isn't a dragon. Yang Yu looked indifferently in the direction of Zhang Huiyu, looking at the dragon elves around him who had begun to gather the dragon's wrath. Dumb, do we need to hide? Yeah. He shook his head blankly, stretched out his hand and patted his belly, his confident face seemed to say. There is no need to stay. Yes, the Salted Fish King doesn't need to hide, because they don't deserve it. Yang Yu's voice was cold. The little dream demon clenched her little hands. If you are looking for someone to return to zero in the future, you should also find someone who is worthy enough to do it yourself. For example, first sign up as a first batch member. The dragon elves have their own pride, and Yang Yu's Salted Fish King also has his own pride. The Salted Fish King had no idea of changing his marching route, because for him, the warrior eagle falling from the sky was his real opponent. As for what, Dragon's Wrath? Roar. Do they match? The 8 beams of light of the dragon's fury, lit up one after another in this battlefield, completely illuminating the entire meteor lake under the moonlight. At the same time, towards the direction of the giant Gyarados in the sky, concentrated bombardment. Oh my god! Isn't this too gorgeous? Is this the Dragon's Wrath? It turns out, this is Dragon's Wrath. This move looks so beautiful. Why do they want to attack that giant Gyarados together? A voice sounded faintly in the corner. The dragon elf is so arrogant that he has forgotten the natural choice of the elf world. When Renfang Chen thought of what his father had taught him since he was a child. A dragon-type elf, very powerful. But don't take the attribute of dragon as a label of invincibility. Don't be jealous of other people's strength. The world itself is not fair. Origin, talent, and surrounding environment. Even a meow that looks ordinary has the ability to make people horrified. When Renfang Chen raised his head, the only thing we can do is to rush like the current Salted Fish King. Meteor Lake underwater. A pair of fierce eyes were staring at the dragon elves who were attacking the king. Ho ho ho! Xiaobao growled in their direction to stop them. Now is not the time for them to show up. When should that show up? Xiao Baobao looked at the night sky above the water. In his mind, he recalled the dream he had once had. When the king under the night sky has arrived, that's when they should show up. Hold head high. The warrior eagle's brave bird attack once again collided with the Salted Fish King's Salted Fish Thrust. This time, the warrior eagle's claw sharpening nearly doubled the power of his moves, and the Salted Fish King's Dragon Dance. Drive the strength of the whole body, drive the speed of the whole body. Keep going. A severe pain came from his head, and the Salted Fish King felt the stinging pain in his head, which was like needle pricks. The burning sensation filled the entire body of the Salted Fish King. Roar. The Salted Fish King takes full action. The opponent who can make the Salted Fish King attack with all his strength is the worthy opponent of the Salted Fish King. Hold head high. The claws of the warrior eagle once again scratched the scales of the Salted Fish King, but the violent collision caused its body to fall uncontrollably downwards like a kite with its string broken. And below, it's the dragon's wrath that attacks one after another. The salty fish king's eyes were filled with rising anger, and the pain in his head made the fighting spirit in his body burn even more. The tornado is coming. The tornado caught the fallen warrior eagle and drove the warrior eagle to circle rapidly in the sky. Hold head high. This is one of the environments that the warrior eagle is most familiar with. It is precisely because of the environment that is so familiar that the warrior eagle, which has lost its combat effectiveness, opened its eyes, endured the pain in its wings, and restored the balance of its wings in the tornado. It's time to deal with these so-called dragon's wrath. Is it really the dragon's wrath? A flash of contempt flashed in the eyes of the salted fish king, and he concentrated his complete anger early on, guiding his terrifying body, and instantly condensed a huge ball of light in his ferocious mouth. This is the real wrath of salted fish. Roar! Ho ho ho! Above the meteor lake, the king has arrived. The king is coming.